What's going on YouTube? So of course, one of the newest luxury brands in the US is Genesis, and one of the most important segments in the US is the compact luxury SUV. This is their entry into that, the GV70, which has made quite a splash and certainly won a lot of awards since it was first introduced. However, it's now time for some upgrades for the 2026 model year, and we can't wait to show you guys that, so let's go ahead and dive in for a detailed first look. Alright, so let's get things started here with our exterior design. Now obviously Genesis has a pretty bold look that stands out from a lot of their rivals. They're not fundamentally changing that overall look, but they are tweaking some of the individual details. They're also going to be tweaking the trim levels a little bit to be slightly more simplified for 2026. And here on our top tier Sport Prestige model, you'll notice we got this nice darkened chrome grille for that signature crest shape. It's very aggressive down here on our lower fascia as well. And then the big update for the exterior in the front is going to be our headlights. So of course they've long had the signature double daytime running light that kind of goes throughout the exterior of the vehicle, but now we've got this multi-spoke crystal LED headlight. Really a beautiful design, just has a lot of nice details to this overall look. Now as far as the wheels are concerned, we're going to have a wide assortment of selections. This is the 21-inch alloy, the large size. As you can see, nice 5-spoke design with a dark gray finish. One of the things you might notice, though, if you are familiar with the pre-refresh, is it had that kind of pocked finish that was a little bit like a golf ball. That's actually gone for 2026, so slightly more conventional, I guess, in its overall appearance. You have the black brake calipers back there behind there. And as we go up here to our mirrors, as you can see, some gloss black accents tastefully used. Obviously, they're going to be fully loaded with all the features you expect, including auto dimming and power folding.
Now at the side of the GV70, we have an overall vehicle length of about 185 inches. That, of course, does not change for the refresh. And overall, it's still just a beautiful design. This, of course, rides on a dedicated rear drive platform, which is different from some of its main rivals, such as the Lexus NX and Acura RDX. Now, as far as the rear design is concerned, Genesis has made a few little tweaks to the overall look of this vehicle, but overall it didn't need many updates, and they haven't overcomplicated it as well. So let's talk about some of those design elements. We have a spoiler up top. We have a wiper that's going to be integrated right through here. The tailgate itself is going to be very sleek. Not a lot going on. It's just a simplistic design that looks very classy and elegant. Genesis branding through the center section. And as far as our taillights are concerned, we have the signature Genesis design theme. They are going to be a full LED setup as expected. And then as we drop down to the lower diffuser area, a lot of gloss black. It looks very sporty and aggressive. You'll notice that the exhaust outlets have been tweaked in their overall shape. It used to be a circle finish for the 3.5T models. Now it's a little bit more of a trapezoidal look. And as far as your tow rating, you have 3,500 pounds of towing for both engine choices. And let's talk safety systems as well. So you're going to have every single one of your active safety features as standard equipment here on the GV70. Additionally, as you move up the trim structure and choose for a V6 option, that's going to throw in things like Highway Drive Assist 2.0, which is pretty advanced. It's not quite hands-free, but it is a very advanced system. But arguably, the bigger changes are on the inside for this GV70, so let's dive into that. But first, if you're new here, we're brothers, and we've been reviewing cars since we were 12
and 16. We started young, and since then, we've reviewed over 2,000 cars at every price point.
No matter what you're looking for, from our long-term vehicle videos to our side-by-side comparisons, we'd love for you to subscribe to be a part of our Car Confections family.
Let's learn a lot and have some fun with all the latest cars. All right, now let's move on to the interior. Obviously, it's going to have a smart entry system. It has a conventional door handle setup. A lot of rivals are going to the electronic style. And let's check out this cabin. So this vehicle had a very bold interior design when it was first launched. You're going to notice some upgrades, though, for 2026 beyond that. And before we get into the specific details, let's talk about our seats. So we've got some beautiful Napa leather seats. As you can see, we've got kind of this light cream interior with the contrast accents in this orange. Really gives a nice bold color pop. You've got a lot of different bold interior color selections you can pick from as well. And then the seats themselves have a ton of adjustments, including a power thigh extension, and critically we have massage on board as well. Well, let's go ahead and hop on inside. And now that we're fully inside, let's check out the rest of the cabin materials. We have beautiful finishes throughout, including leather on that part, leather across the top with the stitching detail, and that continues all across the upper dashboard as well. The center section's finished again in more of the leather material, and then down through here for your need to rest against more leather, and a lot of the carbon fiber trim. Again, you can get different types of trim, but this specific version with the Sport package does have the carbon fiber. Now, we have all the electronics booted up here, even though, of course, we're inside, so you can't fire up the engine itself. And that's really a good place to just move into a giant upgrade for 2026, and that is this huge 27-inch display. So this is a single-piece display. As you can see, it just seamlessly moves from gauge cluster into the infotainment, and it is so thin. We've seen this on some other Genesis products, but now it's come to the GV70, and it's really just visually very impressive how thin and elegant it looks and how great the resolution is. Obviously, you can reconfigure the design of the gauges and things like that. Plus, we have a head-up display. As you move back to the steering wheel, we've got the newest design on board, a little bit more conventional with the overall look, flat bottom, leather-covered airbag cover, nice bolsters as well. It's a very sporty steering wheel. We have power adjustment, and of course, heating is available. In terms of our interior storage, let's pop open our console here. There we go. As you can see, decently sized. We look forward to putting it to the donut test as soon as we can, but it does have a nice felt lining. We have our big wireless phone charging pad right through there, 2 cup holders, and then one of the things I'm noticing is we actually don't have any storage up here in the front because they've kind of rearranged this overall layout for 2026. The shifter is still a beautiful glass finish on board. The electronic style, you just twist over D for drive. You have paddle shifters on the steering wheel, of course. And when you go into reverse, we can see a big old 360-degree camera system pop up. When I click into that, there we go. You can see you can actually spin all around the vehicle, which is quite nice. In terms of some other things, we've got our climate panel. You still have physical controls to adjust the temperature, which is something I'm grateful to see, but some of the other things are going to be electronic. It does have haptic feedback when you touch it, so it gives you a little bit of a sensation when you get into that. And you also have heated and ventilated seats on board. As far as the audio system is concerned, we're going to have a Bang & Olufsen sound system on most of our trim levels. You have some more controls right through the center there. And then, let's take a look at this main infotainment system. So if you've seen some of our recent Genesis products, you'll know that they've been rolling out a new infotainment software across existing models and some of their new models. This new backbone allows for things like wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay for the very first time. Again, the graphics are really quite beautiful. They're kind of like simple and elegant looking, I say. It matches with the overall theme of the interior. Up top, auto-dimming mirror, HomeLink universal remotes, nice suede headliner, and of course, a large panoramic sunroof to finish it off.
All right, so let's go ahead and talk about the rear seat area in this GV70. For the refreshed model, you are not going to have any changes to the overall space. And I do apologize, we are at an auto show, so occasionally you'll have people hop inside. It just is the nature of things. We will be covering this model in more detail, without all the fuss around it later on, so do stay tuned for that. Now, as far as the space is concerned, though, we are sitting at pretty good figures for this segment. This seat is slid most of the way back in its tracks, and I'm 5'9". You can see I have a couple inches of additional knee room. I'll break out the official Car Confections ruler when we review this later with a little bit more time. Now, as far as the seats themselves, they do recline quite a bit. We also do have a nice center armrest with 2 cup holders inside, and we're not done with features because we have vents here in the center section, our own climate zone. You're additionally going to have heated back seats, no ventilated back seats, though. You will have to get the GV80 if you want that, as well as the power seat adjustment here. USB-C ports, and a household style outlet. The seats themselves quite comfortable. We have the same orange seat belts, and you can see we have some really nice ambient lighting going through the door trim, as well as rear window sunshades. So a very nicely appointed rear seat area, especially a lot in the segment are really not making the rear seat feel all that special. This GV70 certainly does a very good job of making you feel special back here. And let's go ahead and talk about the cargo space as well. In order to open the tailgate, you just press that button. And let's go ahead and discuss the cargo capacity. 29 cubic feet of space behind the second row of seats. If we fold those seats down, about 56 cubic feet as a maximum. Now, if you're curious as to how this might rank against other luxury compact SUVs that you could be cross-shopping this with, we'd encourage you to go to carconfections.com/vehicle rankings. The reason you do that is because we've actually gone through and ranked all the luxury luxury compacts out there in different categories that might matter more or less to you, such as cargo capacity, technology, drive experience, powertrain choices, resale reliability. So you can make an informed decision by going to carconfections.com/vehicle rankings and checking that out. Now, back to this. We do have handles here in the second row, or in the cargo area, to fold the second row. It does fold 60-40 split. And then up underneath of the cargo floor, you will find what appears to be a spare tire, as well as just a little bit of underfloor storage.
Let's go ahead and talk about what you'll find under the hood. So the refreshed 2026 model is not making any changes versus the 2025 model, meaning that you'll continue to find either a 2.5-liter turbocharged four-cylinder engine or a 3.5-liter twin turbocharged V6 engine. If you're talking about that V6, you're going to be looking at 375 horsepower, which is quite nice overall. No hybrid availability on this model yet, but of course Genesis is offering a fully electrified version of this vehicle as well. Now, in terms of your overall fuel economy, we don't have any information about that quite yet. We'd expect it to be roughly the same as it was last year. And of course, your transmission is also an 8-speed automatic transmission with all-wheel drive.
And let's talk about pricing and availability for the 26 GV70. Now, as far as availability is concerned, these are actually starting to roll out to dealerships right now. So at the time of this video being made, they're already starting to roll out. You might have to wait just a little bit longer for your local dealer to have one, but they are starting to be shipped right now. As far as pricing is concerned, we do actually have that official pricing lineup. You can see that on the screen right now. We started around $48,000, and then we go up to $70,000 for a model like this before destination. That does mean that the prices are going to rise just a little bit over the pre-refresh model. Now, if you're looking to buy a GV70 or any new vehicle, we'd encourage you to go to carconfections.com/newcarquotes to get the best price. It's also going to give you access to invoice pricing information, which is a great tool for dealership negotiation and can really help you get that best price. Once again, you can find that in our video description, and there's a pinned comment at the top of this video. But guys, that wraps up our first look review of the 2026 Genesis GV70. If you enjoyed watching this, we'd really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button down below. By subscribing, you're going to get the latest car reviews such as this. And of course, we will be covering this model extensively in a very short amount of time. So if you're interested at all in the GV70, we definitely recommend subscribing down below. If you're already a subscriber, thank you so much for your continued support, and we'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.